Pam.
I'm right here. Okay, we have 71 memberships as of right now. We have 4 people that have joined this past month, and of those 4, one of them is new, and in fact, he's here tonight. Oh, it's Seth Toby. Are you there, Seth?
Yes, hi, good evening.
Okay, can you tell us a little bit about your photography experiences and how you heard about us?
I'm trying to remember how I saw. Oh, actually, I think I saw it in the.
Unknown caller.
Can he turn on his video?
Yes, there we are.
There.
Okay now.
Yeah.
Yes, I think I saw it in the Forest Image magazine. I saw, I think, a little calendar that said the meeting was coming up, and I say I'm casually interested in photography. I think I got a new camera at Christmas and been out playing around with it, and it was my first replacing some of my equipment since Harvey, and so just seeing the meeting come up, thought it might be something to get involved with, and just learn something more about how to use it.
No,
Great.
excellent.
Well, we're glad to have you tonight, and this group is pretty active. Usually during COVID, it has been not as active as usual, but we have usually a lot of outings and great programs and other things. Just check out the website and you'll find more of what we do. Let's see, we also have Bill O'Bard, who renewed, and Frank Horman, who renewed, and Andrew Williams, who renewed. So 4 new ones for the month.
Excellent. Thank you.
Hey, Kathy?
Yeah.
We have a guest joining us tonight, Sam King from Madison, Mississippi.
Oh, can he
together and I'm twisting his arm to join
I
our,
would like to.
since we now have virtual capability.
Is he on right now?
Yeah, I think somewhere.
Yeah, right.
Can you say hi? Oh, there you
There's
are.
Sam.
You're the friend of Jim's that you went to Mississippi with, right?
Right. We had a great time.
You were one of them with, was it Tuttle twins with the hats?
Kelly twins.
Yeah.
Right.
A lady took our picture out of her car one day, and we asked her, what was she taking our picture? She said, no, we're taking a picture of that flower behind us. And we looked around, there's no flower back there. So I know who she was taking a picture of.
Well,
We had a great time.
thank you for joining. I hope that you enjoy the meeting and you listen to Jim and decide to join us.
Yeah, I'm going to join. I'll just see
Excellent.
you can do an online membership form and a payment.
Yeah.
Just
We
go
have
to
a couple of other members that don't live in the immediate area too.
Just go to the website and I can join it there.
So
Okay, I
welcome.
So.
Yeah, glad to be here.
Sam, did you want to tell a little bit about yourself?
Oh, not really, but well, I'm just retired and retarded, my wife says, and I just took up photography a few years ago and love it and enjoy photographing almost everything, especially birds. Right now, I'm photographing a family of eagles and putting together some pictures for the owner of the land. His wife wants to give her husband a family group of the pictures of the eagles. And I finally assembled 3 different pictures with all the. I know you can't see them, but I'll show them up here. That's just one of them. It's got all four of the eagles in it. Two young ones and 2 grown ones.
Yeah.
I'm having a blast with that.
We always need some kind of event to get us out with our cameras.
Yep.
So, but thank you and welcome to the club.
Yeah, glad to be here.
Yeah, Pam, I just thought I'd tell you, I just got a new email. Somebody just joined now, and I'm sending them the link.
Oh, who is this?
Julie Crum.
Okay.
Julie Crum just joined us, and I'm sending the link right now. I don't know if she'll join.
Well, this is excellent news to have all these people joining.
Okay.
And eventually we will have in-person meetings again, and probably July. I won't be at the meeting in June, and our speaker is coming from Arizona, I think.
Yeah,
Thanks, Steph.
Grand Canyon.
Yeah, so I think it'd be easier just to do a Zoom meeting, and then hopefully in July we can do a combination in person and Zoom. So anyone who isn't in the area can still join us via the Zoom. So something to look forward to. And then between meetings, this is the slide that just talks about the website and our Facebook. And I will say that we have a very active group on Facebook. It seems like every day somebody's posting something. So if you have an interest, take a look at that and keep up with the club. Okay, Chuck, virtual workshop.
I'm not surprised. I just want to sleep here. Virtual workshop. We have one. Well, I should say Kathy. Kathy,
Yeah.
you're up next. You talk about the workshop.
Yeah. So June 5th, I am doing a redo of the night photography that I did 2 years ago. I have somewhat modified it, and I'm trying to simplify it so it's more like a beginner's guide because I'm not sure how many people in our club actually do anything with the Milky Way. But what I'm covering is how to prepare for a night with the stars, what you need, and tips for post-processing to try and make those photos pop. So it should be a stellar event. Anyway, I hope some of you can join and enjoy the couple of hours, and maybe eventually we'll get some kind of an out of city workshop with hands-on with night photography. So we'll see. And then the photographers Zoom lunch.
Yeah, we do every Wednesday. We get together on Zoom, and believe it or not, ever since this thing started back last April or whatever it was, and I mean April a year ago, we've been doing this almost every single Wednesday. We get a group of probably 4 to 10 people. We talk about everything but photography. That's not a rule, actually. Sometimes we do talk about photography. It's usually about dogs and birds. So,
Dogs and birds. Well, birds could be photography.
well, the Emersons are sitting here, so you got to talk birds if they're on the line. Anyway.
And set your calendar or something, because I keep forgetting. I think it's Thursday and it's Wednesday or whatever, and I keep missing it, and I love it. It's a lot of fun to attend when you remember it.
Well, especially you get a nice rainy day or whatever, just hang in there and talk about whatever you like to talk about. It's a lot of fun. We have a good time.
Yeah, no, I tend to have something going on Wednesday, so I don't get to, I've only Zoomed in a couple of times.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think the ones that I have attended have been very interesting and a lot of fun. They're just kind of laid back.
Well, it's a good way to get to know your fellow members, really.
Yeah,
that's what
if
it's
you
all
can't
about.
do an outings.
Well, we're not meeting in person, so this is a chance to sit down and just chat. Yeah, it's over using electrons, but it works. You have the other one for next month too? Yeah, I guess there is right there. We have the workshop for next month in July. It's going to be on mobile editing. Talk about editing pictures on your mobile devices. Should be a lot of fun. That's one of my favorite things to do. So we'll talk about that.
This is on the post-processing.
Yep. Now the post-processing SIG is different. That's typically every third Thursday. We were going to have it this week, except I'm stuck in Dallas because of the rains. I came up to see my daughter and I got rained out.
Oh no!
Home. So
you're having all that rain?
Oh yeah, Dallas is just pummeled. We had 5 inches of rain here the other day.
Oh my gosh!
Flooding around here too.
Mike went to have.
Always heads to Dallas. It's like a magnet.
It is, and they're big storms. They've had a couple of tornadoes hit around here too. So
they actually started lowering the lake level again.
Well, that's
but Mike went out for. We had a downpour yesterday, and Mike went out to have a dental appointment, and some people couldn't make it to the dentist because of trees down on Woodland Hills.
That's not good.
Yeah, we had 5 inches of rain at my place yesterday, so they're
I got
10 more.
I got 6 inches.
You got 6 inches with your rain gauge? Yeah. It was just buckets of water.
So anyways, we do have this monthly post-processing SIG. What that is people who are interested in talking about post-processing get together and we chat about a bunch of different things. So this month, we're probably not going to do it on Thursday since I'll either be on the road If I'm here, I don't know. I might not be able to get back because I think Thursday's a bad day in Houston, so I may have to. Well,
Yeah, actually, they're saying Wednesday, Thursday are bad days for Houston, potentially.
I may be in Dallas till Saturday. Gosh.
Yeah.
Hey, Charles, how good a cook is your daughter?
She's not that good a cook, but
I'm sorry.
I wish I had Chris here. If Chris were here, I'd be much happier.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Jim Everard, did you want to talk about Portrait SIG? I saw that you joined in.
Jim?
Jim?
Can you hear me? I was just getting ready to leave. I've got to run across the street.
That's okay.
No, I'm just waiting on information basically from what you're trying to determine. As soon as we can come up with a date for the village room and everything, and we're working on a few models right now and everything, and then
Jim, turn on your video.
well, I really would rather not. if you don't mind.
For a bunch of photographers, we're really
But
scared.
anyway, no, it's not what you think, but anyway. No, anyway, as soon as we put that together, and I think we were hoping to get something put together by the end of May, but
Yeah.
might, go over a little bit longer. But when we do start, I think we have a number of exciting things to cover, and we're all set to go. So
Mhm.
we're just waiting on putting those couple of things together. And so I'm not sure, Kathy, when will you think that you might
The pool room?
find out about the room?
Well,
Somebody has to talk to the county and find out what the heck's going on with the library and the community room and all the other stuff that's going on.
The library is supposed to
Is anybody
open
working on that stuff?
They're
What?
supposed to open tomorrow. The library is supposed to open tomorrow.
Oh,
You mean
Wow.
so people can go in and look at books and that?
Yeah,
Yes.
they're trying to get it together, but that's on the couple of the forums in the Kingwood area, and they said the library should open tomorrow or at least by the weekend.
What does Chuck know about that?
no, I don't know about that.
Yeah, the county opened them today.
I just handed over my folk duties to another guy about a month ago. So
Okay. So the library's open tomorrow, Chris, is that right?
That's what I've heard.
The county and all government buildings. are
But
supposed
we have a lot of stuff going on at the community room too. And that's been closed for over a year now.
Mhm.
And I understand that Commissioner, Hidalgo is the person responsible for that. Is that true?
Well, the state told everybody to open up, and so she opened it up today because it was a state
Well,
mandate.
great. Okay. Well, congratulations to her. Okay. All right. Well, that's the main thing right now.
Okay.
All right. Well, as soon as Kathy hears something, then I think we're going to move forward pretty quickly on the portrait.
I talked to Ethel today, or no, yesterday, and she was supposed to send me the information for the open days, and she never did. Now, I do think that she said that after June, the swim team is done. So then you don't have any issues with the swim team.
Great.
But I'll try and get a hold of her again this week to see if I can't get that firmed up.
Great.
I'm not sure why she says she's going to send me the information and then she doesn't. So
Okay.
anyway, so I'll
All
work
right.
on
Great. Okay. Well, that's about it for now.
that. Okay. All right.
Here's Kathy.
Oh, you're welcome. All right, Chris, we had the mini contest. Did you want to talk about that?
Oh, yes, I'd love to, but I apologize. Chuck's kind of handling the software issues that we're going through, and so I can't really say who won.
I got
Chuck,
it.
can you help me out on this?
Oh, neat.
You see the screen, right?
Yeah. I just didn't get a chance to look today.
No, you're such a yeah. You got Chris, you won, and so did Tim Sullivan. You guys both got.
Congratulations, Chris.
Oh, we both won.
So Tim, Chris and Tim both tied with 4 votes each. And just for reference, I didn't get any votes. So, congratulations. Good pictures.
Thank you all for your votes. Your checks are in the mail.
What's our next month, Chris? Let's see.
Well, I
Backyard.
would have to bring it up online and I'm
Backyard.
It's
with
backyard.
multiple monitors.
It's right there on the screen, Chris. Backyard, it looks like. So if you got
Yes.
a flood going on in your backyard, you can take a picture of that.
You know, we're trying to pick these topics because they're timely, and they seem to be very timely this year. What with the cold in February, the birds, all the different things we're doing every month. So yeah, it's just an idea to get out there and take some pictures.
So when you say backyard, what is your definition of backyard?
Well,
lawyer.
I live in Texas.
Open to interpretation.
So I won't be putting in any pictures from South Africa for the next president, for the next contest. But I think it's just good to keep it, don't you think? In the general Texas area, maybe your backyard is a state park. But let's try and keep it in the general area. And again, we encourage our members to go out and just get active. Go, hey, I don't have a picture for the competition, but I'm going to go take something. Or you don't have to. If you've got a lot going on, you don't want to get out, and so you can pull from old photos. That's always permissible. So I think it's just a good thing to let people be honest and give their best work.
Mm-hmm. Excellent.
Yeah, it's not that much at stake here. I mean,
can I add something?
Sure.
I'm in the Woodlands Photography Club, and I tied for first place last month on their mini contest. I got a check for $5.
Wow.
I should really just turn around and send it back to them and say,
$10 to write
it.
Yes.
So the contest gives you $10, and if you tied, you split it 5-5.
Well, I don't quite know how that worked, but I got 5, so I don't know.
Oh well.
Chris, since we'll do this for you and Tim this month.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
There's
and
$5.
I
Chris,
would say
don't spend
since-
it all in one place.
Well, yeah, my wife retired in January, so I'm the wage earner right now.
Oh my God. I'm not sure that that's going to work.
Just for reference, I did get $3 last Tuesday on my golf group, but that.
We are big money people.
Yeah, we are.
Okay.
Oh,
So backyard for next month, and it's basically anything that's local or Texas, right?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
It'd be nice if you actually tried your backyard something, but yeah.
Well, true. Yeah. But in case you're running out of ideas.
Should
So-
get extra points for your backyard.
Yeah, I think you get extra points for real backyard.
For your front yard could maybe do.
Yeah, your front yard is probably fine.
Anne,
Yes, we've got 2 dates set up for the summer. These are actual trips planned, so they're not like pop-up trips. We hope we have a few more pop-up trips. I heard some people talking about sunflowers, which depend on, when they actually bloom. But these are set dates. The Color Museum, it didn't come through. I had a little title there that says Color Museum. Oops. Okay, that's what this first one is. It is called the Color Museum.
Color Factory.
The Color
Color
Factory.
Factory is what it is.
The place it is up here. It's in Kirby Drive, which is right by Rice University. So it's a good location to go to and also to eat. So it'll be Friday, June 11th at 9 a.m. We'll meet to carpool. And then I would say reserve a ticket online ahead of time if you want to. I don't think it's going to be very busy at that time, but you can, and it's 10 a.m. entry. It's kind of pricey, $35 a person, $28 for kids, but it should be interesting and different and perfect for photography. You can see this one room here. This looks like it'll be a lot of fun to work with. And if you have kids, grandkids, they'll be fun to put into these photos too and take pictures of them. Of course, we can always take selfies, but I think it's more fun to take pictures of kids. And then the sandcastle competition down on Galveston Beach is a pretty big deal. I've said Sunday, August 22nd. The actual contest is on the Saturday, August 21st. And you can go down there on that day, but they do suggest if you just want to see the sculptures, because they are actually put up on the 21st. They plan this thing all year. They have groups that put it together. And then they come out and they do stuff like this hungry caterpillar. They put that all up in one afternoon, depending on, they've already practiced it and they have ways of doing it, I guess. And it's probably interesting to watch. But just to be able to kind of walk around and look at them and take photos, the Sunday would be best. Of course, it's hot in August, so the park opens at 8 a.m. It's $15 per car to park, so it makes a lot of sense for us to carpool. Get more information about that.
And be aware that those of us who have church activities will not make that.
Okay, but it's still, I think that would be, we could go in the afternoon also, but the morning. I just feel like we won't have quite so much sun on our skin.
Anne, one comment about the Color Factory. They don't have a lot of parking and they don't have a parking lot attached to the Color Factory. There's one across the street. My granddaughter parked in a parking lot and had her car towed.
Yeah.
So be careful where you park. But there is a car park across the street.
Across the street. They said there's they highly suggest on their website that you use the parking garage across the street.
Yeah.
Probably a good idea so you don't get your car towed.
Yeah, she can't. It was her parents ended up spending like, what? Why didn't you park? Well, this is where you parked before. And anyway, so something learned, but that is something to be aware of when you go down there.
Okay. That's good. Okay.
And then did you want to talk about the High Island? We've got pictures on these photos came from Facebook. So as I said, many of our members are putting really nice photos on Facebook of some of the events.
Trip. I was in California, but I was really disappointed once I saw these photos. They were just marvelous. And I've heard people tell me that it's just an amazing place. You just walk in and they're all there. So many birds. I would like to make it an annual event to go down there at some time. Or another birding spot is a good one is Quintana.
A shout out to Chris for helping my granddaughter. She's a beginning photographer and she had so much fun, and Chris was wonderful helping her and letting her borrow his whiz bang lens, which just made her eyes about this big, and she really had fun.
It was worth it to see the look on, because she was shooting with I think a 300 millimeter, and I gave her this 150 to 600, and she goes, "Wow, I can really see the birds now." It was good.
Now, I really think that's probably one that you could do annually, and there's enough people that probably haven't gone.
Even if you've gone, that's a great place.
I would just go again. Yeah. I like the fact that you could see all the little babies. When we were there, they were building, 2 years ago, they were building nests. That suggested we go later this time. It's probably a little hotter, but it was just really fascinating to see all those.
Were you on that high rise, the platform, the walkway when you took the photos?
I know we were on several. I shot on the double deck platform. I shot on there's 3 or 4, and I actually also got some good shots. If you go towards Grackle Lake, there's some good shots before you leave the rookery of some trees. So it's just whatever you want to do, and it's all about waiting. And unfortunately, the mosquitoes are bad, so I will say bring plenty of mosquito repellent, because if you're going to stand there for 5, 10, 15 minutes waiting for a shot, you're going to get eaten alive.
But they will. When I opened the car door to the back of my car to get my camera, about 20 mosquitoes entered my car, and I got to play with them on my way home.
Yeah. Yeah, Emily, when we drove home, I mean, it was we had to stop at one point. I think Ellen, didn't we? And before we left the place, and I said, everybody at the windows and we killed about probably 20 or 30 mosquitoes. They were still in my car the next day. So.
Hey, Tim, didn't you take some of the pictures of the colorful birds, the little ones up on that walkway, the elevated walkway?
A couple of the two that are there were actually in the parking lot.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, that was on my way out. I just stopped. There was a bunch of them in one of the trees right in that little circle park where we parked there.
Well, and I would add that experts like Connie and David know that they tell us you've got to be there on that day the wind blows in, because I went back. Well, we went on Saturday, and I went back with Ellen and her granddaughter a couple days later, and the little birds were gone because they've moved on. So when you're there and you see those tanagers and all those other things, take your time and get your shots, because they might not be there tomorrow.
So they're migrating.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. Okay, so beautiful photos, all of you. I was just very envious. And now Jim and Steve, you want to talk about the your project? Let me unshare.
So Jim, you want to kick this off?
Yeah, I can kick it off. I kind of came up with the idea because the Black Hills is something that folks in Texas do not think too much about. And I've been up there 2 of the last 4 winters and just had a marvelous time taking pictures and doing photography work. There's a lot more there than meets the eye normally. And so I suggested this, and Steve, since he lives up there part-time, suggested the end of September when we might get some foliage colors, but the weather would be ideal and all the summer vacation crowds would be gone. So we've selected September 19th to the 25th, 5 days, and we've assembled a series of photographs here of kind of the activities we're kind of planning. The activities will be somewhat flexible because of weather and in the number of people that go. But everybody's going to be responsible for their own flights up, and we're going to try to get a group rate at a hotel. I'll be working on that. But we need commitments from folks that plan to go. So with that, Steve, I'll let you take the presentation and move forward.
Okay.
Now that picture is not of the Black Hills.
That was the first thing I was going to say. Was
You know where that is.
Yeah, that's Half Dome.
Half Dome in Yosemite.
I grabbed a template just to hurry up and provide something that looked nice on a background, and it was obvious to me that wasn't the Black Hills, but we'll take it from here. Okay.
That's an awesome place, by the way.
Yeah, it is.
Yes, it is.
So we ought to consider that for the future for our trip potentially. All right. So yeah, as Jim said, what we're going to do is kind of walk through some potential days where I put together a couple of package days that, here's what we can do together because they make logical sense for where we're traveling, and from the time element, what we can try to put together to make it a fun and full day. So one day, whatever this may be, we'll head off to the Badlands National Park. Oh, and I'll preface all these by saying that pictures are stuff that Jim took, stuff that I took, and then stuff that I pulled off just the web because I needed to, because I hadn't been to a particular area at the right time in order to show you what the colors are going to look like. So you'll see those.
And I will say that if there's snow in the picture, I probably took it.
Yep. All right. So this is just kind of gives you I'm going to go through a few pictures of what the feel of the Badlands looks like. If you've never been there and never seen pictures of it, it's a lot more impressive than you might think about. And this particular summer, which I think was 2 or 3 years ago, was the greenest summer that I'd ever seen the Badlands. And I've seen it probably every other year for the past 20 years. So it was gorgeous. But just a lot of places to pull off, vistas to look at, and photography points of view that are just great.
Steve, what time of year was this?
Let's see, this would have been during summertime, so probably July timeframe, something like that, on some of these pictures. But again, I'm going for multiple years, and we kind of come back here different times during the summer. So anywhere from June through August mainly. And then the sunsets out of the Badlands are awesome. Sunrises as well, but we're about a 45-minute drive from where we expect the hotel areas to be in order to get to the entrance to the Badlands, and then it's time to take it to get inside. So it's to do a sunrise, you're gonna have to get up fairly early in order to do that. Sunsets are a little easier.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I just happened to catch this one. I intended to go out here to do some star photography, and we were caught the sunset to get there early, and then thunderstorm came through, and then the clouds didn't depart, so the night of star photography was ruined, but I got a good shot of the sunset anyway. And then there's critters to see. Here we got some bighorn sheep, got some baby ones that are out there, and they are pretty tame. You're not supposed to feed them or anything, but they get pretty close. And then you have the buffalo herd that's out there at the Badlands, and they just reintroduced buffalo to the Badlands. Oh gosh, like 3 years ago, maybe something like that. So they had kept them out. So this is a pretty good sized herd, and depending on where you're at, I mean, you can get up pretty close to them.
Oh, wow!
Wow.
Yeah, this guy on the right he was by himself, and I can see why, because I wouldn't want to mess with him.
He's beautiful, just beautiful.
And at one of the two entrances to the Badlands is the infamous Wall Drug, if you've never heard of Wall Drug. So that would be a likely place where we would stop off and get a lunch and just see the tourist trap.
It is a tourist trap.
But it's fun. It's got like the world's largest jackalope in it, and some other fun things like that. So it's just kind of a fun place to go. You get 5-cent coffees. And it is a place that is advertised around the world. So you'll go to places all over the world, and you'll see advertisements for Wall Drug.
Yeah. Steve, I was in Amsterdam about 10 years ago, and there's a sign for Wall Drugs.
Yep.
This is terrible. And Steve, one thing that your photographs of the Badlands are just wonderful, and one thing that astounded me when we were in that area was that you are traveling across this vast prairie, and you come upon the Badlands so suddenly. It was quite a shock.
Yep, you don't expect it, and then to see it in detail as you get further and further in, it's just wow. So Badlands, or excuse me, Wall Drug will be a stop on that trip, and then probably the beginning of the day we would start out with going to the South Dakota Air and Space Museum at Ellsworth Air Force Base. And I've been there many years ago, but Jim, you were there more recently, and it's got quite a selection of things. Jim took several pictures of the outside aircraft, and there are about 30 different aircraft, full-size aircraft that are out there to take pictures of. And there's another 7 to 10 inside the buildings where the museum is.
Yeah, and that Ellsworth Museum is about 10 minutes from the hotel.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, great.
That's pretty far.
All right, so that would be a day. So another day, we wanted to make sure that we took everybody through Needles Highway, and that is in Custer State Park. It is one of my favorite places, you know, in the country. It's in my top 5. Let's put it that way. We would go through Needles Highway, and it's, I believe, a 17 to 20 mile drive, but you aren't going very fast going through this. The topography is just different than any other place you'll see. And there is the Needles Highway. This is the Needles Eye, so it's right about in the middle of the drive. There's a big pull-out area that, again, we're coming at the end of the tourist season, so traffic shouldn't be as bad to make a stop and take a picture of the Needle if you want to, as well as the other areas. There'll be plenty of places we're going to have to pull off and take pictures, I know. And then just downhill from the eye, after going through a very narrow tunnel, I wanted to kind of take folks on a hike. This is a 1.5 mile in and out hike, a little bit of scrambling, but it's not a horribly difficult hike, but it's absolutely gorgeous. It's called the Cathedral Spires Trailhead. And you're kind of walking through these rock formations. And the picture on the left gives you an idea just of the most difficult part of the climb, really. So it's not that bad. It's a lot of up and down, but it's not. You're not going to need specific gear in order to get up and down this place. And then
did you bring a walking stick or something?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, my wife normally uses 2 poles to get around, but here, this is my sister-in-law and her 2 friends on the left. They all used 1 pole just to help them get around. And then as a part of this day, we also stop at Sylvan Lake. Sylvan Lake's got some unusual rock formations that the lake was kind of dammed up and built on it. And it's just inside Custer State Park to the east as we're coming in from Rapid City. So it's got some neat formations. And if you wanted to, those who were either coming early or going back, there are some really neat hiking trails beneath the dam going out. All right, so that would be a full day because the hike would involve, that's going to take a couple of hours at least to walk through. And we'll be spending a lot of time taking pictures along the way. So another day would be going up to Hill City, which is the self-proclaimed heart of the hills. And it's just a little town that is one of the main thoroughfares through the Black Hills at this portion of it. And I won't call it a tourist trap but it's got a lot of neat places in it, a lot of galleries. There is a South Dakota artist named John Crane that has his main gallery there, and fabulous stuff to look at. And then also some really neat places to eat. One place is called the Alpine Inn. We've been there at least once or twice every summer for 20 years because it's an old German restaurant. They have wonderful lunches, German lunches, and desserts to die for. So we probably hit this somewhere one of the days for a lunch. And then in Hill City is the 1880 train. And we would expect that we might want to try to get on a ride on the train. If I remember correctly, it's about a 2.5 hour ride, and it's about $35 a person. And I think it includes a glass of wine or so. And it's an old train, and it's fun. This is a fairly recent picture of it that I took, and in fact, they even offer a trip on the 4th of July that kind of takes you fairly close to Rushmore to kind of see it off in the distance where the fireworks are occurring. And then just up the road from Hill City, a couple miles, is the Crazy Horse Memorial. And it's pretty impressive. Jim, I know you took this picture when you were up there in the wintertime.
Yeah, you can see the little model statue, what it eventually will look like.
Right.
Wait.
Yeah, they're decades away from finishing this thing.
Oh, wow.
You can kind of see where the horse head will be, and they finally got the hole underneath the arm laid out. But they do offer some specific tours to get up on the face of the mountain. I'm not sure what the details of that are. If you go back to the beginning up here, there is at the bottom left a website that you can go to get a little bit more of the story. I tried to do this at each of the days, the places we're going to go see. So that's a full day up at Hill City in that area. And then, of course, one of the main reasons we're doing it for the timing is of this trip is to see the fall foliage. And there's no better place to go see that than Spearfish Canyon. And again, so these are pictures I pulled off the web because I don't have any pictures, recent ones in the fall because I'm normally here in the summertime and leave before the fall colors turn. But again, the Spearfish Creek has just carved a deep canyon through this part of the hills. And the colors are a little different than like the colors out east, which have the reds and the purples. This is more of the yellows and the golds from the aspen trees that change. And then it's the dark spruce that kind of makes it stand out. And as a part of the travel through there are 3 falls that we want to try to hit. And because I remember a conversation on one of the photographer's lunches, I was looking for any place to get any sort of falls in Texas, and there ain't much nearby, but you'll get a chance to take some pictures here. And on the left is Rough Lock Falls. On the right is Spearfish Falls, which is a little further downriver. And so here's what the colors look like in the fall time period.
That's pretty.
Yeah.
And then this is Bridal Veil Falls,
Yeah.
which will be the 3rd falls we could hit along that road. And no guarantees that it'll be flowing. We'll kind of see what kind of weather we get during the summertime, because sometimes it's not enough to even flow, but hopefully that'll be the case. And then once we're through that, and there'll be, again, a lot of stops along the way here to take pictures. We'll go back through Van Acker Canyon, which is another wonderful place to take fall foliage pictures. Okay, so that'll be a full day of driving. This day is going to be kind of a heavy travel day. In order to get to Devil's Tower, it is in just over the border in Wyoming, so it's probably an hour and a half, 2 hours to get there from where the hotel is. So going up, we take interstate one way, and then we'll go back through a more colorful drive coming back the other direction. But we will hit Devil's Tower, and these are pictures that Jim took when his last trip up there in the wintertime.
Yeah, we won't see any snow.
I really doubt it.
You hope you won't see snow.
No, I don't think so.
Jim, was that with your iPhone?
I don't think these were.
Okay.
No, I take that back. That one was a wide angle with the boulders. That might have been an iPhone picture. Not that one, the one before. That one.
That one?
That might have been an iPhone picture.
Is there any chance we can see some alien spaceships? Because
Well,
that's
Chris,
what I want to see there.
now that you mention that, if we have this trip, we have to secure a DVD of Close Encounters of the Kind to watch the night before.
Gotta hear that music.
There you go.
Yeah,
Soundtrack.
exactly.
And then coming back, there's not a whole lot of stuff on the web for this drive, but they call it the Grand Canyon of South Dakota and Wyoming, and it's kind of a bunch of back roads. But so you're down in these little canyons, drive around, and the colors all around you are just amazing. I've not been there during the fall, but during the last summer we made that drive. It promises to be a great spot. So that's going to be a full day of driving and stopping along the way. On Devil's Tower, there is like a 1.25 mile hike all the way around it.
Yes.
In the park. And so it takes, an hour or so, and it's almost completely level. There's a little bit of incline here and there, but that's a good walk because you get, a ton of different perspectives to take pictures. So another day we can't go without at least seeing Mount Rushmore in that area. And the entrance, I don't know if any of you have ever been to Mount Rushmore before the front entrance was completely renovated. It looks very different. It was very much rustic, 20 some years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a walking tour down near the base of the Mount Rushmore where you get some great different lower perspectives that you can take pictures of. It's kind of fun. It's a good walk, not decent pump, but it's not horrible.
How did they get the eyes so dark? Do they put coal or something in there, or what do they do?
No, if you look up close, it's dug out, but there's a little piece of granite that sticks out to make it look like the empty spot's dark. And you'll see several tunnels that have been built along the drive that basically show Mount Rushmore coming and going on your drive. And that is in Iron Mountain Road. And we will take that drive because it's, again, a very unique piece of tourism here in South Dakota. It's got, I think, 3 or 4 tunnels that you'll have to go through. It's a one-way tunnel, so if there's a lot of traffic, it could be a backup because you only go in one direction, one car, then the other direction. And it has 3 different, what they call pigtail loops that are very old construction that kind of make you drive around, and then you'll see the Mount Rushmore through the tunnels. And then at the lower part of Custer State Park, we'll hit the wildlife game loop. And for many years, as our kids were growing up, we always took them, when we were out here, we always took them on a buffalo hunt because there's a large herd of buffalo that are housed on the park. And we're talking 500-600 buffalo. And sometimes they get them all together. They do it the big roundup in October, but you'll find out by stopping to talk to the park ranger, finding out where they're located, and you can go see the buffalo herd. And then along the way, there are tons of prairie dogs and prairie dog towns along the way.
That's so cute.
And this is during the buffalo rut in September. we may be lucky enough to hit it, but it's earlier in September that occurs, where the males will fight for the dominance of the females.
Wow. Steve, and when we were there at Custer State Park, the place where you park your RVs is fenced off, of course. And we had taken our dogs for a walk and were headed back toward the camping area, and there were bison lying on the paths and lying all around, and we couldn't get back to our campsite. And my husband said, "Oh, let's just go ahead and walk." And I said, "I'm not walking past bison with two dogs." And so we had to go to the lodge and get one of the park rangers, get in his car with our dogs and get him to drive us back to our campsite.
Yep. Yeah, this is not something where you're going to want to get out of your car and try to get close to take a picture.
No,
stay in the car, because these are not docile animals. They can come after you. And I don't think we're going to be in the right time for birthing, maybe too late in the year, but you'll get a chance to maybe see some of the young ones. And then you also have, lucky enough, you'll see wild turkey. There'll be turkeys in a pack. And then there are some burros on the loop that love to get fed. And you can definitely feed those because they're tame as anything. And if you're real lucky, you might see a herd of elk. Here we had a small pod of females and young that I caught going up a hill. And if you look real close, sometimes you'll see what's called a burrowing owl. So they will take the prairie dog holes that are not being used, and they'll use them for their own burrowing, for their own homes. Kind of difficult to get to and see, but if you're lucky, sometimes you can see one. And then there's pronghorn antelope that are all over the park area as well. And then as a last piece, if we have time, there's a lookout at the Mount Coolidge Fire Tower that is on basically on Needles Highway, that is in that part of the park. And it's just an old fire tower. Watch for the old park rangers that is still in use, but not to the degree that it was in previous decades. But it's just the lookout. The venues are pretty spectacular, looking out over the hills. So that's another day, and a very full day to cover. And then we have perhaps a day planned out to go up to Lead and Deadwood. They're kind of sister towns that kind of run into each other. This is where Lead is where the old Homestead Gold Mine used to be. It's not operational anymore. It's now an underground laboratory that's being used. So it's a lot of mining history, and it was once like the 6th largest gold mine in the country. So pretty large area. Jim, this is a picture you took in one of the main streets.
This is Deadwood.
Yeah. And Deadwood, of course, has got lots of history. There's a lot of gambling halls there, and it's an Old West kind of theme, if you will. Then there is the Mount Moriah Cemetery, which is kind of a neat place to go see. This is where Wild Bill Hickok was buried. If you remember him from your early West history, as well as Calamity Jane. And then Jim added some pictures here of the architecture in Deadwood. Again, it's old stuff, and it's kind of neat. And then at the top of the hill, as you're exiting Lead, is a exhibit that was put together by Kevin Costner, the actor, to really kind of talk about the story of the bison and the history of the Native Americans and their use of the bison for their livelihood. And it's a series of statues that depict a buffalo run and that whole process they went through to gather the buffalo. It is cost, I'm not sure what it is this year. It's been in the past like $25 or so per person. So there'd be an additional cost you may want to consider, but it's a fun little thing to go do and take pictures. And then also in this area is, and it's about a mile hike in, but not a very difficult hike. It's called the Pathways Spiritual Sanctuary. And it's at this Duan trailhead. And it's just a series of aspen trees in a very pristine meadow with a lake and a couple of statues denoting the Native Americans. So that's something that we could go do and see as well. Now, I've added a few pictures in here just on some of the other hikes that we could do if we wanted to substitute hiking for some of the other things to take pictures of. And there's nothing that says we all have to do the same thing every day. So I'm just giving you a feel for what some of the other hiking adventures we could do and take pictures. This is Little Elk Creek, the lower portion of it. And it's famous for the picture at the left is Shrek Rock, if you're familiar with the Disney cartoon. Big Hill is another hike that is very different because it's a bunch of aspen trees that you're walking through the trail. It's just a very peaceful, fun walk. A little bit more difficult would be hiking up to Little Devil's Tower. And here my wife and sister-in-law were behind me a little bit, so I took a picture of them as we were doing the climb. But it's again a sacred place for the Native American Indians at the top. So they place colorful rags as memories up there. And so it's a very sacred place, and we try to make sure we leave those alone. Oh, the picture at the left, this is a picture from Devil's Tower, Little Devil's Tower. At the left, at the very top, that is where Black Elk Peak is, which is the highest point in South Dakota, as well as the highest point east of the Rockies in the US. And that would be the next hike we could potentially do, would be up to Black Elk Peak, which is probably about a 5-hour trek up and down, both ways. And it's a strenuous thing. It's about 100 to 110 floors of stairs, basically, that you're going elevation change. And then you have the lagniappe of what else you see along the way on a lot of these hikes. These are some of the wildflowers that are in South Dakota. I don't know whether they'll all be there at this time of year, but here's what I've just picked up as my camera has been used throughout the years. And some other fun. There's lots of sculptures and stuff that are done with some of the posts of the dead trees that are left over.
I think that's chainsaw art. You can buy that.
Yep.
It's in, was it Keystone? Is that the little town?
Yeah, a little tourist trap, yeah.
Yeah, it's a tourist trap.
So the Rapid City area. So we leave it a little bit of time. If we've got bad weather, I'm going to show you a few things we can do. Or if you just want to have a very relaxing day and not do anything strenuous, there are bronze statues of all of the presidents to date that hit every corner in the downtown area of Rapid City. And so they're kind of fun to go see. And then there is Dinosaur Hill, which has got a couple of large scale, full scale dinosaurs that are popular with the kids. And there's a great drive along Skyline Drive, so you can see the topography in Rapid City on both sides of the city. And then if weather really gets bad and we got to stay inside, the South Dakota School of Mines has got a geological museum that has got a ton of old prehistoric stuff, as well as gems and minerals. That it's a great display. So that's something else we could do inside. And then in downtown, one place you probably want to hit while you're there is a place called Prairie Edge. It's a store that provides places for Native American art to be featured, and you can purchase the stuff there. It's a fabulous place. There's a couple stories and many rooms that it's just a neat place to go see and look at the art. Okay, so it's time to sign up to make this attendance.
Yeah, what I'd like to do is to get everybody to respond to me if you're definitely going to go. And really, it's going to, the two things that I'm going to focus on is to get group rates at a Hilton or at a Marriott, at a hotel. And then we've got, I think we're going to have 3 or 4 cars. We'll rent cars. I think Chuck, or I don't know if you're driving or flying, and then, but Kathy and Mike will have a rental car because they're going to stay past. I'll probably have a rental car, and then Steve has his own car up there.
Yeah, I got my own vehicle. So
we can go multiple directions if we want to.
Yeah.
So that's 115 for 6 days.
It's 115 per day for let's see, yeah, 6 days, I think. Now, if I can get a group rate, we'll do better than that. And obviously, couples going up will have their own room. If singles want to go up, they've got a choice. They can have their own room, or they can share a room with somebody. When we went to Vicksburg, I think several of the women that went shared a room. And the airfare, I checked last night, and American United, they've come down a couple of $100. I checked a month ago, it was 500 and something. Now we're looking at 337.
Yep.
So it's a moving target. But once we get, the idea is we all fly in on Sunday, the 19th. There is a 7 o'clock plane leaving Houston that gets in at 11 o'clock in Rapid City going through Denver. And then on Saturday coming back, you can leave at 9 o'clock and be back in, I think, at 3:30 into Intercontinental.
Hey, Jim, question. What's the drive up there look like? And what would you plan on? I don't know how many days, stops, whatever. I'm assuming.
I just asked Steve that. It's 2 hard days, right, Steve?
yeah, from Houston to Rapid City, it's 2 really long days. You're talking like 12-hour days on the road each day.
Yeah, so maybe three days of reasonable.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
But if you've got multiple drivers, man, you could do it.
Yeah, well, I'm going to be driving up, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Okay. The other thing is, if those of you that plan to come, if you want to come in early or if you want to stay later, that's fine, because everybody's going to have their own room and they're responsible for their own room, and we'll just have to plan around the cars. But we're not requiring everybody to show up on the 19th and leave on the 25th. But that's going to be the official length of the trip, where we all come together as a group and go out as a group. Any questions?
Jim, could you send this out to us? Plus the like the airline where you said we had what time we're leaving, where we're catching the next plane going out, and then coming back. So I've got that.
Yeah, I can do that.
Hey,
Thank you.
Jim, put again a thing together with the timing and everything else, and I'll send it out for you with a link back to your email. So people
Okay.
on to you.
Okay.
Okay.
And I asked this question before, and if you guys have already discussed it or have got a link, for those of us that are still learning how to do all this, like this is what you need to carry, this is what you need to expect, bring your tripod, don't bring your tripod, wear these kinds of shoes and obviously dress in layers, but the kind of layers, Steve, that we should be looking at for that kind of weather, that would be really helpful.
Oh, yeah. Well, as soon as we kind of got the list together, who's going, we'll put together a detailed thing like that. Yeah.
Okay.
What will the weather be like?
In that time of year, you'll get down in the 50s to 40s at night. I mean, it's getting there. It'll drop, but it'll get back up into probably the 70s during the daytime. It's at the end of the summer, so things are starting to cool off. Right now, I mean, today up here, it was probably 70, but it'll get down to 50 at night.
So it should be nice weather.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
As long as it doesn't rain.
Yep.
Well,
really,
as the old Norwegian saying is, there's no such thing as bad weather. There's only bad clothes.
That's right.
that's right. And South Dakota
You'll take
doesn't
rain
get-
gear.
Yeah, South Dakota doesn't get a whole lot of rain, and that time of year it's not real wet. So I think we'll probably be in good shape.
Okay.
Just a couple
That's the dry time of year.
Yeah. Another thing to note, along with the rental cars, we'll need to get because we're going to the Badlands, we'll need a national park pass. They do have one-day passes for those. I will have a year-long pass for my vehicle. And then Custer State Park, and we'll probably hit that multiple days, also requires a separate pass for the vehicle.
Yeah.
That's a state park?
Yeah, state park.
Yeah. But the Badlands National Park, my national park pass is good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That'll get that car, whatever car I'm in.
Yeah. So the rental car that doesn't have it, yeah, or if you don't have one already, you'll have to pay at least a one-day pass.
Right.
Yeah. So, okay. Any other questions for Steve and Jim? And you should get the information out probably next week, Jim.
Yes.
Okay. And then you'll get and then you'll give us an update next month.
Yeah. I'd like to get a response, people that are serious about going by the 1st of June. Then because that gives me the count, because now I can start planning things.
Okay, this is just a reminder to use the button, the Dropbox upload, share, and learn. It's been working really, really well. So it keeps my emails from getting too overloaded. So we have 57 photos to look at, and we're going to start off with Ann Mullins. If she's here, Ann?
Apparently not.
Maybe not.
Ann is cutting some slice of dessert right now.
Well, I see Ann is on there. She's got her speaker and her video off. So she may be looking for some coffee or something right now.
Sorry.
Oh, there she is. Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Ann.
Hi, Ann.
So it's your photos, Ann.
We can hear you, Ann. Come on.
I think Ann decided to shoot insects for feathers and wings.
Yeah, but I was surprised too. And Chuck did actual feathers.
Very nice.
Ann can't hear us.
Well, unmute her.
Yeah.
Okay, so these are her photos.
Ooh, very good.
That is excellent.
Yeah, in close.
That's almost like a microscopic. And then a moth. And there's a limit of three photos. So if you gave me more than 3, I chose one. And Arlene?
Okay. Hi from South Lano River State Park. My husband and I, Bob and I, we are feeding the birds in the bird blinds as our job here for a month. And that is
Great.
a scrub jay.
Ah,
And he waits for us. We do the blinds about 8 o'clock in the morning, and we can hear him in the trees. And he grabs that suet as soon as Bob plops it into the hole. And that was taken with my my iPhone.
Wow, that's awesome.
That's awesome.
where are you at that you're watching the blinds?
We are at South Llano River State Park in Junction, Texas, in the hill country.
Very
Oh my
nice.
gosh, I thought you were on your side. I thought it looked like you were outside.
We are. And I was worried that you were hearing a lot of our birds because they are all over the place. This is a migratory pattern, and it is a big bird place. So it's lovely. It's just outside, about an hour from Kerrville.
Okay.
I actually
We were
was
just
hearing
in that
some
area.
birds earlier. I was hearing some birds earlier, but they weren't bad. It's just sort of nice.
Well, wait.
Yeah, I was wondering where the bird sounds coming from.
Yeah, that was us. And right now we are looking at our bird feeder just inches away, and we see a painted bunting.
Oh, really?
Yes, they're very plentiful here.
Oh my gosh.
This is a wonderful park.
So Connie and Dave, do you know about that park?
Definitely. You will see some of my pictures coming up.
Okay.
2 weeks ago.
Okay.
Orlane, we were just there about 3 weeks, 2.5, 3 weeks ago. Because we were going to ask you.
We just missed you.
Yeah, because we were going to say, do you ever go into town to eat at Lum's Barbecue?
It's there, but we are vegan, and so we don't eat barbecue.
We did eat it 3 times while we were there.
Well, excellent. Thank you for submitting that.
Thank you for showing it.
Ah, well, my pleasure. And then Chris.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, I posted a lot of pictures on our Facebook account page and of photographs I've taken in the last couple of weeks down at the various places along the coast. So I thought, since I'm up against the top bird photographers here in the club, I would just do some birds, some wings and feathers from other parts of the world. And so these are sacred ibis that you see in Africa. And the parent, I don't know if it's a mother or a father, it's doing the thing most birds do. They eat up this like grubs and stuff, and then the baby just sticks his beak down the mother or father's craw and they chew it out. And you can see, if you look in the poor bird's neck, it's like you can see the beaks down in there. This was shot in Cape Town, South Africa.
Amazing.
And this bird is called a Cory bustard.
That's it.
Not bastard. It's a Cory bustard. And it's the largest bird in Africa that actually can still fly because they're so large. And it stands about 4.5 to 5 feet tall. It has a wingspan of up to 9 feet. And this was shot in Namibia, and they're just out. This was in the brush in the field, and he just stuck his head up, and I grabbed a shot. It's hard to tell the scale, but that's about a 5 foot tall bird, which is a scary thing to encounter.
Wow.
Okay, last shot. This is these little red-billed oxpeckers. They call it a symbiotic relationship because, okay, they're helping to get the ticks and the bugs off the animal. And here we have an impala. But as you can see, all those little dots under his eyes, those are little things that he was digging in. And these birds are actually known to they will chew into a mammal, until they bleed. So they're not just after the ticks. They're bloodsuckers too. But they're kind of cool birds, and they're very, very photographic. So those are my choices for this theme this month.
Oh, excellent choices. And then Chuck's got Antarctica.
Yeah, this one is not Antarctica. Actually, this is the Falkland Islands.
Oh, Falkland. Okay.
Falkland Islands. We were at this place with a lot of penguins. These 4 here wanted to rumble one day. So I was out there. They sort of approached me. You can't approach them. You're supposed to stay on the paths and stuff. But they came right up to me and looked like they wanted to rumble. So.
When were you there, Chuck?
When was I there? Probably about 2 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Chuck, I would just add, and for other bird watchers and stuff, I've photographed these types of birds in Patagonia and in South Africa. And so then they're obviously also in other places, but in the southern hemisphere, they get around, but they have lots of nesting grounds.
Yeah, I did take some also in Patagonia. This picture here is a still life. I didn't want to compete in the bird world, so I really actually went to Michael's and picked up a bunch of feathers, and then took some still life. Those the things on the little book on the right, on that picture on the bottom right. There's some wings. Those are Air Force insignia wings. What else? I got feathers there. I've got a bird cage. A little bird in the bird cage. You see that? I won't give you the species because I think it's stuffed something.
Your still lifes are fabulous. What are you using for a background?
I Photoshop.
Oh, really?
If you saw the original of that picture, it's not as fabulous. So I take still life and I try to do a good job, but then I use a gray, a neutral gray, 50% gray background. So it allows me to drop in another background very simply using blending modes like overlay, blending mode, Photoshop.
Very nice.
Yeah, that is nice.
And then,
I didn't, your stand there, those are like bird feet.
Oh, those are bird feet. Well, you know what that stand is?
Yeah.
That's actually an antique cigar lighter. It was full of oil. You put oil in the head there, and then his little cigar out of his mouth is a wick. So you light that wick, and it's got a little cigar there, and you can light your cigar with. In the old days, you could light your cigars with it. So that's a cigar lighter, believe it or not.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
And then more feathers.
This is more feathers. Another, the same. I've got a book there. I've got reading glasses. A pear is traditional. If you're in a still life, you have to have a pear in the picture. And I have two little brass birds down there on the table. So I did my best to make it feathers and stuff like that.
Very nice.
No,
what you need to add here, though, Chuck, is tell people you put that light on. You didn't turn that light on.
The original picture doesn't have a light on. The light's on. The stand is there, but the light is not on. So that's all Photoshopped. I should almost put the original in here. The originals are nothing like this. I mean, obviously, the elements are there, but the light is not on. The background's not on. The shading and the dark and the light, all that is all.
Yeah.
And it is amazing what you can do, Chuck. Really is.
It's fun. To me, that's part of the art. You know, you take a good picture. You got to start with a good picture, but then you create it with post processing.
Mm-hmm. You ought to have a class on masking.
He did.
Well,
he did.
There's a lot of obviously the background in the background, and actually making it go through the birdcage railings. That was the difficult part.
Yeah, gorgeous. Connie.
Okay, speaking about South Llano River State Park, maybe Arlen will recognize this because this is right at the check-in office. They have a little water well, that wishing well, and the water bubbles up, and these nice little hummingbirds were taking their bath in the top part. And so these are black-chinned females, I think, or immatures.
So pretty.
You can see where they bubbled up the water.
Mm-hmm.
And then speaking about different birds in the area, the black-capped vireo is a cherished bird for birders. It is only seen in central Texas. It comes up from Mexico and comes at this time of the year to nest in the scrub oaks and then returns. So, and to see one is very difficult. These things like to flit in and out. And this one happened to pose very nicely. So he's all wet from bathing.
Beautiful eye.
Yes.
Yeah, great.
And this bird's only about 2 or 3 inches tall.
Yes, it's a very small bird.
Wow. These are cute.
Yes, and then this is my red-headed woodpeckers. They're enjoying a spring day at the farm. They're also another thing that really is not typically around, but they seem to be making a little nest in a dead tree at the farm. So I had the opportunity to take 1,000 pictures one day of them. Mainly of him, not her. She wasn't as agreeable to join with him. So
that's 2 hymns, right?
No, that's a him and a her.
Is it? How can you tell?
because I know that she came over when he did all his little hollering and showed her the hole and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, okay.
You can't really tell the difference.
Connie,
No.
are you using that Canon 100 to 400 for most of these?
All of these.
Very nice lens.
Wow.
Yeah, I someday I'll get to use my new camera when I get my adapter.
And then David.
Okay, this is a male bluebird. This is at the farm too. And they were, at this point, I think they were just, getting ready for the female to lay the egg. She was in and out, but I think she was laying eggs at this time. And this is one of the boxes. I had to replace this roof section up here on the right side of it in the spring. And when I opened it up, there were 2 dead bluebirds inside it. They had frozen from when it was so cold. But so we don't have near as many bluebirds up there as we did have, but we do have this one pair, and they've already nested and had their babies, and they're gone.
Yeah.
So that's a male, and this is a female. That's a crepe myrtle tree right by the bluebird house, and she's a little more skitsy than the male was, but she was waiting for us to get out of the way so she could go into the house. Very pretty birds, beautiful birds.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a mourning dove in our backyard here at the house. He came in one day and stayed about maybe 2 days, and he was very bossy. We have the white wings are very big birds, and he scared all the white wings off, and that usually doesn't happen. But he was all fluffed up on the ground. They're a really pretty bird.
That's great detail.
It's pretty.
Feathers.
Pretty feathers.
Yeah.
And Emily.
Well, I went High Island, and this was one of the critters, the snowy egret that was flying around, fluffing his feathers up. A minute before this, he wasn't this fluffy, but he was shaking it out. So I love their yellow feet. And this was in my backyard.
Great shot.
And this baby bluebird was sitting there, and this white-winged dove came and jumped on the shepherd's crook, and I thought he looked I thought the little baby looked like he was doing a karate chop.
That's a really good catch.
Oh, yeah.
It was a miracle. I only caught it because I was photographing the baby at the time that the dove decided to impinge on his territory.
You should post that somewhere. That is a really cool photo.
Yeah, I thought it was photoshopped when I first saw it, but I know you better, so.
I was real excited. It's my favorite shot.
It's very nice.
What was the speed, Emily, you were shooting at? What
was the speed that you shot at? Yeah.
What was what?
The shutter speed.
Shutter speed.
I'd have to look it up, but I usually try and do at least 800. So it was probably pretty fast.
Yeah.
But anyway, This is High Island. These are tricolored herons. I had never seen them in this kind of plumage before. I've seen them all over Lake Houston, but they're never this fancy. Now, I don't know if this is a different variety or this is just their sexy look for spring,
This is mating season.
Yeah, wow. I was so impressed. Oh my gosh.
They look like they put hair gel on their feathers.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it's just stunning.
Yeah.
Gorgeous. Okay. James?
Well, this is a Smith Oaks rookery, and this is the one bird that I took a picture of that I would want to show anybody. I was there for about 3 or 4 hours, but I had a hard time getting this because I wanted to get an image of the chicks. That's really what I was after.
Mm-hmm.
So I used a 300 with a 1.7 teleconverter.
Yeah.
And I kind of like the scene, so, okay.
And this is the only one that I was able to put up because I had sent you a message that you had sent me the PSDs instead of a JPEG. And then when you uploaded JPEGs, they were flowers and not birds.
Okay, but the daylilies do not bloom until 1st of May, so I missed the April.
Anyway, this is the only one that I put up.
That's okay.
Okay. So, but that just a hint to everybody or a reminder that we only can do JPEGs, especially with the Dropbox. It's got very little memory, and when we load it up with high JPEGs or PSDs, that we get crashing notices. Chuck already sent me a notice that we need to clean out the Dropbox. So anyway, but that's the other thing is if you want your photo in a gallery afterwards, they can't be so huge. The gallery also will not take very large JPEGs. So use the procedure to make them smaller so that I have more opportunities to have your photos in the gallery on the headers. So anyway, thank you,
I
James.
thought standard protocol was like a 72 to 100.
Well, if you have
and then 10 inches.
Yeah, if you have the long side of like 2000, I think, but Chuck has some very good directions. So if you have any questions, take a look at the directions that he has.
Yeah, just reduce them in Lightroom or Photoshop or whatever. 72 DPI, 100 DPI is good, and 2000 on the side is plenty big. They'll show up real nice. They'll really show up nice.
Especially for screen, you don't need. It's not being printed, so you can go with the lower resolution.
Right.
And then John Gray.
I decided to look at a little bit different type of feathers instead of taking pictures of birds. So this is a macro image of a peacock feather. And I thought that the colors were pretty unique and really stood out. You can see why when you look at them, they're so cool.
Mm-hmm. Those are gorgeous.
Thanks.
That's really
The next one, I like this old guy's feathers above his eyes. It reminded me of some old men that I know. And
I love his blue eyes.
And they still have that green eyes to them, don't they?
yeah.
Yeah.
So I was down in Galveston a couple of weeks ago, and this guy was sitting out on one of the piers just looking at me, so I took his picture.
I just want to clarify that, John, you and I aren't old men, are we?
No, I'll have to admit, as I admitted to Jim Shepins this week, I am an old guy. I've had to decide that I can't drive 12 hours at a time to go someplace.
No.
No. And then John O'Brien.
Wow, look at that.
Nice shot.
Is he here?
He was. I saw him earlier.
He was here earlier. I don't see him on the list.
Is he gone? Did he turn off?
Let me just really quickly see if I can.
I don't see him on here.
No, I don't see him on the list.
Okay. All right. So this is pretty.
Oh, it's cool.
What kind of is that, a moth?
Gotta be.
Yeah. Got the body of a moth.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
I think these are Photoshop some way. I don't. That's not
Yeah, I think so too.
Not a real.
Yeah.
If it is, it's Photoshop.
Okay, and then Mark Walton.
Okay,
this is a bluebird looking out at the nest a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And this is some wings over Houston.
There you go.
That's the Canadian Thunderbirds, isn't it?
No, it's the American Thunderbird.
No, it's the American. They don't have Thunderbirds in Canada.
No.
Ah, that is the Air Force.
Yes.
Okay.
Thunderbirds.
Yeah.
And these were some birds up in called Canada birds up in Pennsylvania near Washington's Crossing.
So these are the Canadian Thunderbirds.
Canada goose.
Well, they do thunder, but they leave a lot of crap behind too.
Pam.
My bluebirds got their babies out of the nest a few weeks ago, and I counted them up, and there were 5 of them, which I was surprised at.
What kind of birds are they?
Baby
bluebirds.
Are they baby bluebirds?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Is this year's crop?
What?
Is this from this year?
Yeah, this is from a few weeks ago.
Oh my gosh.
Brood right now. So this is the first brood.
Yeah, I have 4.
Oh, look at
They're-
those.
They look more like that.
Oh, they're so cute.
Really
Very
good.
good.
And they like to sit by the feeder at times and
Yeah.
look to see what's going on.
Great shot.
Yeah. What are you feeding them?
The mealworms.
Mealworms. Now, are these the
Yep.
babies too, or
These are the babies. These are the babies as of a few days ago.
Oh, so
Very nice.
cute.
They are. They're adorable.
Jealous.
And then
So wings
Bonnet-
from, I've had 2 monarchs hatch already.
gorgeous. And this is Ron.
Hey, there was a lot, this was shot from my backyard. There's a lot of ruckus going on as the birds were chasing an eagle out of some pine trees behind us. We have one of those hike and bike trails behind our house that is also a big part of the drainage system. And so this guy was actually fishing in there and they drove him out. Now that's with my Canon and my Tamron lens, and obviously it's not as sharp as it could be. So for this to be share and learn, I wanted to learn. If I get something like this where I have absolutely, it's grab and shoot, and you have suggestions on how I set up faster or what I should do, I'm all open, because I should have been able to get that clear.
Well, they have some programs that one thing that would help is just in Photoshop to dehaze it, and it'll darken it up a little bit,
Sharpen
and
it.
add a little
Yeah.
more detail. And then
Topaz sharpen.
they have some noise reduction and sharpening programs that are pretty good out there.
Yeah, Ron.
I'd say come to the lunch tomorrow. We'll
Yeah.
talk.
Yeah. Look at Topaz sharpen. Okay.
Topaz is really good.
Topaz is really good. You know what?
It just depends on what he grabbed and shot with. I mean, what lens, what speed. So we can talk about it tomorrow at the lunch if he comes on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Come on.
Yeah, come on lunch tomorrow. We talked about it.
Do you have the link for that? It's like,
Okay.
I'll have to send out the link. Okay.
Yep. All right. This is the backyard, and we have a lot of the small those little pine sparrows that
Franciscan.
No,
Goldfinches.
those are goldfinches.
Franciscan.
That is down below is the pine siskin, but the top ones are goldfinches.
Okay, so these have been taking up residence, and I'm up to 2 feeders now that I fill at least once a week. And I've got probably a good 30 that are regular feeders. So this is shot with the same camera, and I took, I think, 50 shots, and this was the best one. Was just lucky getting the bird to open his wings for me like that.
Yeah.
I have 2 feeders that I fill with probably 5 cups of stuff, but the damn jays and the white wings go in there and they go and spray the seed everywhere, trying to find the one that they want. And I fill it almost every day.
Well, I was using my daughter's dog that I was babysitting, and I would sit there on the back porch and wait for him to congregate, and then I'd turn her loose and tell her to go get them. The little ones don't even scatter. They just sit there and wait till the big ones are scared away, and then they all go and eat. And this is on that same trail, out for a walk with my granddaughter, and I got that with an iPhone, an old 8 Plus.
Wow, that's amazing with an iPhone.
Yeah, and that was his second flap. He had literally just leaped up in the air in front of me and startled me as much as everything else. So that's a pulling point.
That's good reflexes.
Really? I can't even get mine turned on fast enough.
Scott?
Excuse me. Yeah, hi. This guy is a lilac-breasted roller. That's a native African bird. Anybody that's been to Africa has probably seen them. They're not uncommon by any means, but they are amazingly colorful.
It's
I think
gorgeous.
this guy was in Tanzania.
Beautiful.
Oh, great shot.
Nice shot.
That,
That's a real portrait.
What kind of bird is that? I think that was at the Houston Zoo.
Oh, very good.
Now somebody had goldfinches. I think it was Ron. This is a few years ago. For some reason, like my backyard goldfinches are long gone. But some years ago, they stuck around a little longer, and a couple of them really colored up and got pretty yellowy, getting pretty close to their full breeding colors. I was lucky to get a few pictures, this being one of them. In the backyard. The real backyard now, not the extended anywhere in Texas backyard.
The real backyard. Okay, Seth. Seth is one of our new members, and this is his first share and learn.
Very nice.
Yay.
Yeah. So all three of these, well, as I mentioned earlier, I just getting a new camera. I got the Canon R6, and for all of these, I had rented a RF 100 to 500, and these were all the same night about a month ago, walking along Kingwood Lakes. On this one, we were walking along the trail, and by the bridges, and the egret just went flying by, and I was able to swing it up and start taking pictures, and so I thought this was the best of the bunch of him.
Excellent.
Very nice.
This is really cool.
Wow.
So there were a whole bunch of ducks, and I looked later, I guess these are black-bellied whistling ducks.
Yep.
But they sit up in the trees, which I'd never seen before, and they were very
That was here in Kingwood?
Yeah.
I've never seen them in here in Kingwood.
Oh, well, come to our house, we'll show you.
Okay, I will.
Yeah, and I thought the color in this was pretty, it was, right at close to sunset, and it was a lot of reds, and I just thought the color looked really nice in this one.
Wonderful.
Nice.
Nice contrast with the green behind too. And this is nice.
And this was right after. So, I mean, really, this was just looking the other way, just a little while later. Just the heron just heading off into the sunset.
I think we have a good new member.
Yeah.
Seth, how are you liking the focus lock on for like eyes and things on these birds? It looks like it's doing very well for you. Are you happy with it?
It is like magic. Yeah. No, I have no right to take some of these pictures, but it does an amazing job. I'll tell you that first one of the egret going by. I mean, I literally just swung the camera up and started shooting, and by the second picture, it was in focus.
It just locks in. It's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. It literally is focusing on the eye instantly.
What kind of camera, Seth?
It's a Canon R6.
R6. Yeah.
Is that the one you have, Chris?
Yeah, I have the R, and I know Connie is just waiting for her converter for her EF lenses, and she'll be taking pictures too. So.
With the 5. With the 5.
Right, with the 5, which is good too. So.
Any day now.
Even higher resolution. I'll just tell you, Connie, the focus on the eye focus, the animal eye focus is just incredible.
It'll probably be too fancy for me, but we'll see.
No, she'll take 90,000 pictures. I'll be processing pictures forever.
You could, at I think 12 frames a second, you can fill it up fast.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is at High Island, Smith Oak Sanctuary for the Photo Club trip that we went down there. I believe this is a tricolored heron that was kind of standing way up high, and I tried to catch him with his beak opening up. He was trying to leave it closed the whole time, and managed to catch him with a little bit of opening.
Nice.
That's nice.
Nice shot.
Oh, this is really nice.
That's a great action shot.
Yeah, so this is the egret. I'm just doing this with a 70-200, and so it's a lot of digital zoom going in here. But again, I was trying to catch them as they were leaving, going to get another stick for the nest, and caught it with the right light.
Nice.
And a little different wing, just a little bee on a I believe this is a
Is that a
bee balm.
balsam?
It's
Is it a
balm.
bee balsam?
Yeah, bee balm. So yeah, that was here up in the hills.
Nice.
Nice. And then Tim took off. He had to go somewhere for his daughter. So this is a cedar waxwing, and he said he was going to send us some notes. Did he send you some notes, Chuck?
No, well, if he did, I didn't get them. I'm sorry.
They're all down there, though, if you look at them.
He's got good definitions in there.
Just hold on. Let me look at my emails in case let's see.
No, but I meant at least all the information is down below.
Yeah, I've got it. I've got it. Sharon Lerb notes. I've got it. It says cedar waxwing in my front yard.
Wow, that is wonderful.
That's
So sharp.
Yeah, nice.
Really sharp.
So the second one, he's got Sandhill Crane in Galveston, handheld with a 12-pound lens. Was it a heavy lens?
Oh my God.
That's David's old 400.
Yeah,
That's
I
the day we took him.
400 lens on that day.
David,
1/5000th of a second.
And Connie and David, he was thinking of you. He said if David and Connie asked, because they know you would, yes, I replaced the sky on this one.
No, I can hold 7 pounds.
And then this is a Scarlet Tanager, the last one.
Oh, yeah, gorgeous.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. It says on High Island a few weeks ago. I got one like that too. Not quite as not quite as
Yeah,
pretty.
and he's shooting with a new. If you'll notice, that's the RF 100 to 500 millimeter lens. That's a beautiful new lens that Canon's offered for the mirrorless, and he sprung for it. So very nice.
Well, these birds like this are really hard to photograph too. If you start shooting these summer tanagers and tanagers like these, or scarlet tanagers, are really hard to photograph because they reflect light from that.
Brilliant red, just
Brilliant red,
reflects.
it's really hard to photograph.
Yeah,
Well,
the red
when I was there with the group, we were they're under the trees, and the canopy can be very dark. So
right,
it's a tough lighting situation. You're really at the mercy. If you have a newer camera, especially with a newer sensor, I think you'll get really nice shots. And it shows here. He got an excellent shot.
Yeah, because he's down at 1/500 because it's just sitting there. And you look at that ISO of 1600, no big deal.
No.
Yeah.
And also the red isn't blocking up. You know how sometimes when you get that intense color, it just eats itself up and you don't get any detail. But I can see detail around the eyes and the feathers and everything.
Yeah, especially where it touches the wing.
Yeah, it's very nice.
That is nice. Excellent. William.
Okay, I guess Scott and I have similar taste in bird photography because this is my lilac crested roller, also shot in sub-Saharan Africa. And I've named this picture Misdirection because he's looking one way and he's the firefly looking the other way. And I think it tells an interesting story. Like they don't even know each of them are there. So I thought it was
catching it.
Interesting story. Yeah.
That is.
And I've titled this one Touchdown.
That's a hippo.
Yeah, that's a wattled crane that's just touching down on the back of the hippo because they like to park themselves on the back of hippos and kind of look out over the terrain. And you can see the Egyptian geese on the right-hand side kind of watching the whole action. And I'm sure you guys have seen these Egyptian geese in Kingwood now. They're probably going to take over Lake Houston pretty soon because they're very prolific. But yeah, they're very common in Africa.
Yeah, they're fighting like crazy.
Yeah.
And this one,
nice.
Yeah, this one turned out pretty well.
Wonderful.
I was actually resorting in Zambia. I was sitting out on a little deck, and the sun was going down in front of me, and this firefly just landed on a branch about 10 feet from me. I had my Canon camera and my 300 millimeter lens, and so it wasn't macro. I just aimed that 300 millimeter lens at this thing and took it. And because the sun was directly behind it, it silhouetted his body, but it allowed the light to come through and really accentuate the structure of the wings. And it came out of the camera pretty much like this because of the silhouette. And I thought it was just made a very nice portrait of a firefly.
It is. You can even see the spines on the feet, on the legs.
Yeah.
That's
Get
excellent.
the light just right. It's amazing what you can get.
Yeah. Very, very good. Okay, Mike.
Wow.
Yellowstone.
Okay. This is some pictures we took on our trip here to Yellowstone a few years ago. when we were looking for the eagles, and there was a couple of these guys up in the tree as we were going along the river there.
Just a photo club meeting, trip?
This was the Yellowstone that we went in the winter.
Yeah, that's what I said. This is what I recognize the eagles.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was two of them.
Uh-huh.
Then we got this one too. You can see to the right there, he just finished up a little bit with the fish he caught.
Yeah.
There. And let's see, the next one are some swans also that we saw on the river. Interesting, I saw something about the eagles, and surprisingly, they come back tremendously strong. There's now 1,000 in the US and 1,700 in Canada and Alaska. And they actually they're starting to eat small dogs. So they're now giving special little jackets for dogs with porcupine quills on the outside. Eagle will drop the dog. So
My sister lives in the Seattle area, and a friend of hers lived in there was a lot next to her that had a bald eagle nest that fell, and they found 40 dog collars.
Wow.
From
Wow.
the nest?
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
I'm going to comment because I have the same picture about these tundra swans here. If people will look, that's actually ice on their backs.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
That's a solid piece of ice on their back.
Are those trumpeter swans, Connie?
Yes, they are.
Yeah. They were. It was a nice trip. That was another really nice trip.
Really enjoyed that.
All right, so we've come down to the end because I'm the last. This is a Yosemite blue jay who was very upset because we weren't feeding him. We were at a table and he came over and he was making a pest of himself. But I thought he was very interesting and cool looking.
Very beautiful.
And this is from the zoo in San Antonio, and it looks like they're having a parrot conference, and the bird in the mid, it looks like they're planning an escape or something, you know? I just thought it was cool. And then finally, this is from Lake Houston, the Pelican Buddies sharing a log. They're actually looks like they're getting ready to have a little song and dance. So
Log rolling contest. Yeah.
Yeah. But they were really buddying up there. I love this guy here. He's like, get it on. Anyway, so we've come to the end of a meeting. Our next meeting will be June 15th. The program is by Adam Shala. Is that how you say it, Pam?
Yes, you're right. Shallow.
And it's called Chasing the Light Grand Canyon. So he will be zooming in for that. And for your assignment for June, it's clouds, beautiful clouds, stormy clouds, any clouds. So this is from our trip in 2019 in Russia, and beautiful scenery, but the clouds were also spectacular.